Hello everyone, it's me Linda. Welcome to Lenny P's Place. I hope everyone's doing well today. I am doing very good and I am here for Flip Through Friday. This is hosted by Gwen at Gwen the Trash Witch. It's a super fun collab. All you do is flip through something that you've made, or a book, or a magazine, or whatever you want. I've pretty much been flipping through journals because I have quite a few. This happens to be one of the first, or maybe the first, what I consider to be a junk journal. I made journals, but they weren't like this. So I thought I would show this one today. It was fun. It was called the Desert Island Challenge, and it was hosted by Nick the Booksmith. And this was way back in 2018. So I may not remember everything about it, but I remember, I think I remember enough to tell you what we did. Inside here, I do have, because I did flip through here to try to refresh my memory a little bit. I have my paper of what we had to do. We were shipwrecked on a desert island. We were on a cruise, and something happened to the boat. I don't know what. Anyway, we had fanny packs, and they were kind of big, and they were waterproof. And in those fanny packs, we had 8 things. Now, everybody had the same 4 things. They were considered our given things that Nick gave us that we could use. Glue, string, scissors, and some type of paper. I chose tea-dye paper. Memory serves me correctly. You could choose any kind of paper you wanted, but it could only be one kind. And it had to be some type of plain paper, if I remember right. I'm going to go back, find the links to the videos that where she told us what we had to do, the rules for the challenge. And I'm also going to link my original video where I explained better what I did. Anyway, we could have 4 things that she was giving us, and they were in our fanny packs. And then we could choose 4 things. And you could only have 4. A piece of fabric. And if you chose a piece of fabric, it could only be big enough to, like, cover the outside of your book. So, I mean, you didn't have to use it for that, but it couldn't be much bigger. I think mine was 12 by 13 or 14, something like that. She said it couldn't be much bigger than a piece of scrapbook paper. A little bit bigger, but not much bigger. So I think that's probably what I used. Fabric was my first one. I had a Stampin' Up! Double-ended marker. We could only have one. We could have a pen, a Sharpie, something like that, a marker. But someone asked if we could have she had a video where people ask about things, so she went back and kind of explained it. Well, it wasn't in that, but it was down in the comments. There was someone had asked about double-ended markers, and she said we could use one double-ended marker. She said that would be a wise choice because we could use either end. Like if you chose a piece of double-sided scrapbook paper, you could use either side, but you could only have one. Am I making sense? I hope so. Of which I did choose a piece of scrapbook paper. And what I chose, you know how at the back of your scrapbook paper, or your paper pad, there's usually like, the back of it has all the pages, a little description or a little image of all the pages that are in the book and in your scrapbook pad. Well, I chose the back of mine because it had all these different images on it. And so I used the back of the scrapbook pad. And so back cover, I guess you'd call it. Anyway, that's what I used. And then the last thing that I had was ink and an applicator. If you chose an ink pad, you could have the applicator. So those were my 4 things: fabric, a double-ended marker, ink with an applicator, and 1 piece of scrapbook paper. And that's it. That's all. Couldn't have anything else. She said, like, clear off your desk. You get 8 things, and that's it. Oh, and then she did say we could use water. So that was the things. So what I did was I glued several pieces. I think I glued 3 pieces of my, you could have as many pages of paper as you wanted, but they all had to be the same. Like I tea-dyed all mine, and I think I ended up with, I don't know, 25 or 30 pieces of tea-dyed paper. I'm going to put this back in here because I don't want to lose that. So I glued, I think, about 3 pieces of my paper together to make my cover. And then I used a piece of paper, and underneath this paper is a piece of the scrapbook page that I had. And there was also an image on there of a map. And so I put those together, and then I used a little piece of paper, and I wrote the word journal, and then I used the marker to go around the edges like it was stitched. And I wrote Deserted Island Challenge, Nick the Booksmith, 11/2018. So it's been a while. So then I used a piece of my fabric, and I don't remember what I used. I think it was maybe I don't know if it was an old sheet or a piece of muslin. I don't remember. Anyway, I used a piece of my sheet or whatever it was, my fabric. And I just kind of decorated it, and I used my marker. I drew hearts. A line down the middle, I drew hearts. And then I took the frayed edge, I used the marker end of my, because one end's like you can write with it, and the other end is like a marker. It's, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have one out here to show you, but I think you know what I mean. Anyway, that's what I used. And then I don't remember what kind of glue I used. And then I know I used my this, and I made circles, and then I just took my marker, the end of my marker, and went around the circles. Then on the back it says, this was on the scrapbook paper, the piece of paper that I had, it said Made in the USA, and then I just wrote my name and glued it on because I couldn't use anything else. I made my tie from little strips of my fabric, and I took my marker and I just made little lines on it. I guess you can see those. Okay, so that's the outside. On the inside I made a pocket, and remember now, we didn't have We only had a pair of scissors. We didn't have our paper trimmers, or I didn't have a ruler. That's not, I didn't choose one, so I couldn't use one. I made tags. This one I used my marker and drew lines. Used my marker and went around this one. Then this one I used my whatever color ink I used. I don't remember what kind it was. I know it was Tim Holtz, but I don't remember the color. I'm pretty sure in my original video I probably explained much better because my memory was, it was fresh. I just made these back then. But I used fabric and I just put dots, little polka dots on the top of that one, and I dyed my string by rubbing it across my marker. And then I made a pocket and I used my needle and my thread and I sewed around it. And then here I just used my marker and I drew some stars. And that's just a piece of paper. And then, how many signatures did I put in here? 2. I have 2 or 3. I think I did 3 signatures. Okay. Yeah. I was ambitious, wasn't I? For having such limited supplies. And for it being my first one. Anyway, here I did a little tuck spot. Just took a piece of fabric and drew some lines on it. I made a flower and used my marker to put a center in it. Just a little thing to write on. Was it just one page? Yeah. Did I glue? Oh, I doubled these up so that my tags would be thicker, more sturdy. Yeah. I said I used about 25 or 30 pages. I don't know. It might have been more than that. I just don't remember. Our paper was unlimited. We could use as much as we wanted. It just all had to be the same thing. Here's a piece of the scrapbook paper and 2 little tags that I made. This was a little piece of the scrapbook paper down here on the bottom. And then, yeah, used a little fabric there. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of, I got to speed this up because it'll be really long. If I take that long for every page, this was a little, anything like this, any type of embellishments with any kind of image or anything on them, came from that one sheet of that one scrapbook paper pad, the back cover. I made a ruffle here out of my fabric and I dyed it with my ink pad. And here I made a pocket. Or is that just a little journaling spot. I put some little X's here like cross stitching. Have 2 tags here that I made. Oh, I'll have to tell you about these. I'll do that now before I go any further. Get that back down in there. I took some of my paper and I made stencils. I made stencils out of my paper. When you don't have anything to use, you get very creative in what you're doing. So I made these stencils, and then I folded this up, and I made me like a straight edge, like a ruler type thing, because I didn't have one. So those were and I used these stencils or templates or whatever you want to call them to embellish my stuff here, my tags. And whatever, here's another piece of paper, fabric that I ruffled up. And any place where it's dark is where I dyed it with my, either with my marker or with my ink pad. I don't know how I did that. I guess I don't know, I guess I took my ink pad and turned it on the sides, what it looks like I did. Here I made some lines by using my straight edge. Here's another piece of the pad. Here's some of my stenciling. I made these pockets here. I don't think there's anything in them. Oh, another tag. Little spot there I didn't put anything in. I think there's quite a few that I don't have anything in. It's the moments together that change us forever. And all this was on the back. I chose a good paper pad. I don't remember what it was, but all this stuff was on the back of it. Here's another tag, and then I decorated it, put some flowers and polka dots on that piece of fabric. Is there anything in here? I think probably not. You can just do so much when you don't have anything to work with. And then, oh, I really decorated up that one. Look at there, how fancy I made it. I had fun with that marker. And then that little thing says memories. Oh, I sewed 3 little X's down here, cross stitches. Let's see, what did I do here? Oh, I made like a double pocket. Life is good. I've got a little tiny stamp. And just some, oh, that's a little paper pad. I poked some holes with my needle and tied string around that. Put that in with string. Made a flower. What does that say? Something about best time. That little teeny writing. I can't read it. Stenciled this. Added some more fabric trim that I just gathered up. I left the string. Some more little pieces from the back. Oh, Reflections by Lori Whitlock. That was the name of the paper pad that I was using. Of course, I just used the back. I think you know that already. I keep saying it. But made some more flowers. The story. That's just a little book I made. Paper pad. Got fancy with this one. I dyed some fabric with water. I think I got some of this in the water and it turned it pink, and then I put some fabric in it and dyed the fabric, and it turned out pink, and then I went back with the marker, I believe, and darkened the edge of it. Oh, I made a flower here. And then I took some of the strings, you know, when you, when it frays. No, no, that was some thread. That was some thread. That was some of the thread that I used, and I dyed it. Or, yeah. And then, there's this. Anybody that was in this that could, like an artist that could draw, oh, they really had it good, because they weren't limited. I was pretty much limited to little tiny flowers and hearts and dots, because I don't know how to draw. And this was just, is this open? Yeah, just a little piece of paper in there. This was, though, it was such a fun challenge. Oh, a pocket with the tag in it. And a piece of fabric with my dots on it. And then my faux stitching around the edges there. And some scrapbook paper. This says Reflections. Oh, I did a, what do you call that? Weaving. I made a weave pocket and a little tag. Is there anything in here? No, it's just a fold down. Tag. Anything in that? Nope. Another piece of that dyed fabric that I dyed pink. And then I put dots on it. Another piece I did with hearts and just a little a little strip to journal on. Get that back in there if I can. I don't remember what I chose for my glue. Does that do anything? No, just this. No, I guess not. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, I know. I see that now. That was a pocket, and then this is a pocket down here with a little tag in it. And that's a very thin tag. I didn't double that one. I don't want to go in too good. Okay. And we're almost to the end. It's open. I don't have anything in it. Anything in here? Oh, just a piece of paper. And that is the end. So this was fun. This was the most fun challenge. And like I said, it was a long time ago. It'd be fun to do another challenge like this now that I know a little bit more about junk journaling than I did back then. I think I had that folded. Yeah, but it was fun. It was a fun challenge. And I'm going to link down below just in case you might want to go over and, I don't know, do you know Nick the Booksmith? I loved her. She don't have much on anymore. It's been a long time since I've seen a video of hers, a new one. But anyway, I'm going to link below the 2 videos that she made announcing her challenge, and then the one that clarifies better how much what you can and cannot use. And then I'll link the one where I showed this the first time, because it explains better. I'm sure I need to go back and watch it myself. It explains better, I'm sure, what I did, and it should tell what I used. I should have watched it before I did this, but I didn't. So anyway, yeah, that's it for me. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. This is Friday, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, be happy, be well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.